Welcome to r/best of Redditor updates, where OP thinks that his neighbor is secretly living inside of his apartment. Our next Reddit post is from r/creepy encounters. I'm a man in my 20s that lives alone on the very top floor of an apartment block. I've had short hair for the last 10 years of my life. The longest hair on my head is maybe an inch long, if that even. However, across my house, I kept finding long hairs on the floor. Like long brunette hairs, at least 5 to 6 inches, sometimes longer. And they'd be everywhere: bathroom floor, in the shower, in the cupboard, in my kitchen, on old clothes, living room floor and sofas, etc. I've been single since November, and I clean often enough that I'm certain it's not my ex-girlfriend's hairs. Plus, my color doesn't match anyway. She had solid black hair. These are more of a light brunette. Plus, I'm finding them in places like the shower, where running water is hitting all sides of it 5 times a week. Anyways, I waved it off as, well, I work with a lot of people and I use the gym and bus sometimes, so naturally hairs are going to stick to my clothes. Well, one day I finished my early AM gym session and got the call that I didn't have to go to work that day. So naturally, I start to walk home all happy that I have the day to myself. I'm on the 5th floor, the uppermost floor of the building, and the apartment is in such a way that there's only one apartment per floor. I start to hustle up the stairs and don't use the elevator since I'm sweaty from the gym anyways. Just as I whip a right to go up the last set of stairs from the 4th floor to the 5th floor, I see my neighbor's daughter, who lives on the 3rd floor, come down the stairs from the 5th floor. We lock eyes. We've never spoken before, mostly because we've never had a reason to, but also out of respect because I didn't want to make her uncomfortable since she's like 20 and I'm slightly older. The most interaction we've had is that I've spoken to her mother and father before when bumping into each other on the stairs. I gave a confused hello. At this point, I'm thinking that she maybe went to knock on my door to ask for something. A cup of sugar maybe? I don't know. I was expecting her to reply with something like, "Oh, hi, do you have any such and such?" Nope. She gave a silent, "Hey," and brushed right past me. And only then, when the smell of my own shampoo hit me, did I notice her hair was wet. Like fresh out of the shower a minute ago, wet. Now, I'm not saying that she showered in my house, or that I have a stalker that's been living in my house while I've been at work. She very easily could have just been there to ask for something, and most generic brand shampoos smell the same. But don't the pieces all fit a bit too well? Her hair color matches the hairs that I would find around my apartment. And like I said before, they were everywhere. In my bed and in my sock drawers. And if it's the case of me having a stalker, how did she know I came home early enough to bolt out the shower in time? Our apartment doesn't have cameras. It's an older building from before 2000. And why would she be stalking me? For how long has she been doing this? We've never dated, never had a proper conversation. I maybe saw her 20 times in the past 2 years, given that I work and she presumably studies or works too. As all these thoughts are buzzing through my head and I'm standing outside my door for a solid 2 minutes grappling with what just happened, I go to turn the key to my door and it opens without me having to unlock it. And I know for a fact that I always double lock my door. It's the type with a lock near waist level and a second, more secure lock with a different key around shoulder level. I drop my bag, throw off my shoes, and run to the shower. And yep, it's wet. I hadn't showered since yesterday morning. I'm a confrontational person. Not that I go looking for fights, but I'll definitely pursue an answer if something is bugging me. So back down the stairs to the 3rd floor I went. I knock on the door of my apparent stalker and her family. She opens the door, but with the chain still on. I see half of her face from behind the door. "Yes? Were you at my door or inside? I don't want to make this a police thing now, but you came down the stairs and I know that you were inside." "I just had to get something. It won't happen again." "Okay, bye. See you." Door closed. This happened last month. I've been cleaning my house every weekend closely now, and I got the locks changed and put a motion sensor camera above my door. It only films and triggers on the steps coming up to my door, so the 4th apartment still has their privacy. So far, so good. I don't think she's been inside since. But looking back, I think she's been living in or going in or whatever into my apartment since January, because that's my earliest memory of finding hairs. She never took anything of value, like my laptop or the few watches I have. Seemingly, she just showered and ate some of my food and laid in my bed. I do now also always take the elevator and avoid the third floor like the plague. Then, 1 week later, OP posted an update. My cousin's husband is a police officer, so I went to him directly about filing a report. He came over to my apartment first as I gave him a visual breakdown of what happened on the stairs, and odd changes that I'd noticed in my apartment since January. Primarily just hairs everywhere and missing food, and how my door was unlocked that day. Even though I did a thorough clean following the event on the stairs, my police friend was able to still find some hairs, so he bagged those up. I gave him my statement in detail and some dates as best I could, when I remember finding the first hair, when I first noticed food going missing, etc. With all that done, he left and came back 3 days later. He and his partner went to talk to the family on Sunday because they knew both parents would likely be home then. Long story short, she confessed to everything immediately and broke down into tears and apologized once my police friend brought up how 5 months of entering someone's house, even with keys, is still very much an offense, and she could easily end up with a sentence of some sort if I pursue it. And that sentence could very easily involve the inside of a jail cell, irregardless if she stole something or not. They talked for an hour, with the parents and her all in the same room to get answers from her. Then, the same day, the police officers came up to my apartment and they gave me the breakdown. Question 1. How did she get in, or did she have her own keys? The locks on our doors are the type that use a code on the lock barrel that only the manufacturer or locksmiths have access to. She knew this because her parents got the locks changed when they first moved in. And in fact, she used the same locksmith from all the way back then. The locksmith presumably remembered the family and apartment, but just didn't pay attention to it being the 5th floor instead of the 3rd floor this time. So she came over and took the barrel out, saw the code, went and made a set of keys, and that was it. I was none the wiser. Both my locks on my door are different brands, but presumably they operate the same way, so having 2 locks made no difference. Question 2. What was she doing in my apartment? All the commenters who just said she needed space, you were right. She has 2 younger step-siblings and her mother is a tutor. So at any given point, there's always some kids around the house. She would say to her parents that she was going out to study or work at a girlfriend's house and use my house as a hotel while she studied or relaxed. The reason she used my apartment was partly because she knew that it would be empty, but also because my schedule was predictable. I work an average 9 to 5 like everyone else, but leave the house at 6 to 6:30 to get the gym done too, and that essentially gave her the house from 6 a.m. to 5 p.m. How long was this going on? My guess was right. It started in January, when she figured out that I'd broken up with my girlfriend around November. My girlfriend would stay at my place when I went to work and back sometimes, so yeah, that would have been an interesting situation if they crossed paths. How did she know that I was coming home early that day? Twofold. Firstly, I go to a commercial gym in my country, and so they have an app. Irregardless of if you're a member or not, one of the things the app lets you do is see how many people are in each branch, so you can see how full it is. All you have to do is download it and scan the QR code at the entrance by the turnstiles to add it to the My Gyms tab. It literally shows you like, branch number such and such at this address is 9 out of 50 slots full. She would refresh the app in the morning, and if it went up by 1 around 6 to 6:30 a.m., and she heard me go downstairs to use the elevator, then she would know the house was empty. Now, for the creepiest and most messed up part of it all. She put an air tag in my car. She insisted that she had only put it recently, and initially just presumably gambled that I wouldn't be home sooner than expected. But then, one thing led to another, and yeah. That day when we met on the stairs, she refreshed the app and saw that I left the gym. But then my car didn't move. She connected the dots and tried to leave ASAP. When she heard me coming up the stairs, she didn't have time to lock up, so we met on the stairs with my door remaining closed but not locked. Did she have some thing for me, like a crush? My police friend didn't really say anything about this. Presumably he never asked, since it's not as important as other details, or it never came up. It makes a little difference. How is my standing with the family right now? The mom and dad both apologized to me. The mom by a text, and the dad in person at my door. He offered to pay for the camera I installed, as his daughter was the direct cause of it. But it was cheap and off of Amazon, so I said no, it's fine. We had a 10 to 15 minute conversation, and he was very apologetic, and to explain that his daughter had always been extremely quiet and well behaved. So something like this would never have crossed his mind in a million years. He did also ask if I would press charges, and I again said no. He said that he would send his daughter to apologize to me in person too when the situation has calmed down, as she's apparently very, very tense and upset and hasn't left her room in days. Am I going to press charges? No. I'm still not happy about the situation, especially the effing AirTag on my car. But the family is apologetic, as well as the culprit herself. And honestly, no one is going to gain anything from this. I would like an apology though. Have I seen her since? No. She won't apparently leave her room and is terrified that I'll press charges. Though presumably her family's told her that I said that I won't. Do I feel bad for her? Truthfully, no. She's not 10 years old. She's 20 or something and educated. So yeah, she should feel remorseful and guilty and scared. Get over that hump and come apologize. Plus, there's loads of spaces for young adults to go, like public libraries or her college spaces. By no means was my house the only viable option. Finally, did she use my bed or wear my clothes? Believe it or not, yes, she did. Man, people are too forgiving. I would have pressed charges there, no doubt about it. If this was like a, random teen whim, dumb teen being dumb teens, I could sort of forgive it, but it's so insanely premeditated. It's like this woman was, planning a murder. To be clear, I'm not saying that she was actually planning to murder him, but the amount of steps the lengths she took is like as if she were planning a murder and trying to get away with it. It's honestly really clever. And just imagine how creepy it is if the genders were reversed. If a dude was sneaking into a girl's apartment when she wasn't there and laying on her bed and wearing her clothes. People would be rabid. They'd be pulling out the pitchforks and the torches. So yeah, I think she does deserve to go to jail. That was r/Best of Redditor updates. And if you like this content, check out my podcast where I publish the exact same episodes. Also, hit that subscribe button because I put out new Reddit videos every single day.